All righty, we are here with Mr. Brad Ellerbrock from Atkinson, Illinois. Him and his family raised Making Bank, a popular young Southdown sire owned in partnership with Silver Dollar Farms. Brad, why don't you weigh in and tell us a little bit about this guy's pedigree and his DNA?
Okay, thank you, Jordan. Certainly excited about having a small number of Southdown ewes. You know, this whole project kind of started out for an opportunity for me to buy off breeds, if you will, so that I could split up my two kids, Kendall and Cole, in a way that when we were out jackpotting, that, you know, you didn't have your same kids and the same breeds all the time. So back in 2017, if I got the year wrong, I apologize. But 2017, I went down to Lanny Bowman's, a friend of mine, buy some seed. Just been a good friend of mine for years. Appreciate the quality he had. I went down and looked through his set, trying to find a Southdown ewe that I thought had the potential to not only be good enough to compete in what I call our Illinois Clubland Association point system, but also might also dual purpose herself in a way that would be at least competitive on the breeding sheep side. And so we went down there and we found this ewe and really was excited. You know, there's probably 30 or 40 ewe lambs in the pen and they were full fleeced, and we dug around and I said, Lanny, can we shear? And he goes, yep, let's shear. And we got her sheared off there. And Lanny goes, wow. He goes, I think that one's going to work. So that ewe was a Bow daughter, okay? And Bow was a buck that I'm not trying to brag that I did anything special. I used him at the Illinois State Fair as champion ram, went on to win Louisville. I just thought that was a high-quality individual, so I was excited that we could find a ewe that was out of Bow because I thought the quality of that buck was good. So in 2017, she ends up being reserve junior champion down there at Sedalia. Or not Sedalia, but down at Louisville, excuse me. And unfortunately, we weren't there to show her. Lanny showed her at the open show. We went back to school, but that was a fun time. At that point, then I just wanted to start AI and taking advantage of all the services and rams and the availability of semen and how that works out for us in today's world. When you have a small number of ewes, you know, you can't afford to buy a ram to breed 2 ewes, 1 ewe or anything. So I searched a lot of Southdown web pages and I ended up breeding her to Bordeaux, which was a buck that I just thought looked really, really high quality. He was big racked and really, really good in his rib cage and just had a lot of quality. That's what mom is. Okay, so she's a Bordeaux on this Bowman ewe that was out of Bow. And that ewe, we took her and she won a lot on the jackpot on the segment as a baby. Just giant backed. I mean, when I'm talking about groove backs, she had a really big back in her and really big butted. There'll be a picture that you know was when I sheared her to go to Louisville as a ewe lamb. She ends up second in her class that year. I could have debated that. You know how that goes. Is we all, when we're judging and when we're on the other side of the fence, was pleased that she was recognized for the quality she was. Now, I'm not going to tell you my focus has been about big sheep in this, you know, this little Southbound project is about good sheep and good livestock. And so we turned around and, you know, Cole selected Ocean Eyes is what he wanted to breed the Southbounds to this year. And so we jumped on there. And I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. We bred every Southbound ewe we had to Ocean Eyes. And all of the ewes we have, except one, go back to daughters of the Bowman ewes. So it was kind of an all-in, could have been a bust. Instead, it turned out to be an awesome deal. When this guy was born, you know, is a breeder that's bred sheep for a long time. Sometimes you know when you got one that's special. And I'm telling you, this guy at birth, he was really, really good. His sister's awesome. Don't know. There's been some folks like to try to buy her, and Nicole keeps telling me to keep her, and you know, one of those deals. But they're both twins are really, really good. Every black guy that come through really appreciated it. I'm not going to lie to you. I was setting him up, whether somebody wanted one, even when you came through, I set him up because you just want to promote good livestock. And, you know, when you have something that's good, high quality, it is a lot of fun. So he is out of a Bordeaux daughter, out of Ocean Eyes, and then goes back to a Bow daughter, and very, very unique, high quality individual. So.
And Brad, do you want to touch base a little bit on his DNA as well while we're on that
subject? He's RFF, EDF. He's clean.
Awesome. And
lucked out. I was talking to another Southdown breeder in the country, and we were exchanging report cards one day. He wanted to know what my buck bled, and God luckiness or whatever, because I don't have all my ewes bled, but everything came back our RFF and my report card. And he goes, his report card wasn't as good, but it was kind of fun to they all came back clean for whatever be the reason. So
Right. And I know I was lucky enough to see him at a younger age, but how would you describe to people that didn't make it to your guys' farm or hasn't had the opportunity to come to RSG and see Making Bank in person?
So, when you're, as a black breeder, if you follow what I'm saying, you got these whites just floating in periodically in a pen, they stand out uniquely different. This individual, though, not only just stood out from being white and being a Southdown, but what was funny is there were so many people that just couldn't believe how well he handled more like a black sheep than he did a white sheep. One individual came through the barn, very intelligent individual, made the comment. He said, "Wow, a Southdown," and then he goes, "A really good Southdown." And most all the guys wanted to cut him. I'm not gonna lie to you, probably would have made a nice weather. Most really really good bucks would have made a good weather,
Right.
if they're uniquely from that standpoint. But as a set of twins, and I'm a big believer as a long-term breeder that if a set of twins has both twins are really good, I feel like there's even more strength in their genetic potential to be a buck that hopefully doesn't throw so many differences in types and kinds. And lamb has the same quality as what this bucklamb does. Big boned, big round rib cage in him. He's level and square, big butted. I mean, lots of shape from that standpoint. Never's had what I call a bad day. I mean, I don't ever really remember having a sheep. Sometimes we talk about them going through phases. I don't felt like this one ever had a bad day, and there's something to say about that. But I do believe that I've talked to some people about sometimes there's in a pedigree, there's somewhere in his pedigree you used a ram that you just probably shouldn't have used, but it's in your genetic tree at that point. I don't think there's anything bad in here, and it goes clear back to a coal breeding. Gail was a good friend of mine, as a little kid. And just a lot of quality, of depth of quality, and high quality phenotypically.
Awesome. Wrap this up. For the Southdown breeders that are really trying to progress their operation, what kind of females do you foresee Making Bank kind of working on?
I see this guy as being one of those sheep that honestly, knowing his pedigree and what he's put together, I believe that he can take the big sheep of the world of the Southdowns, and me being a previous Yorkshire breeder can appreciate a big one, that's good, from that standpoint. So I've kind of got a diverse background. Everybody always just remembers me as being in the clubland business, but I remember those big Dorsets, and I always appreciated big one. I think this guy is big enough to not destroy the size of the big ones, and I think he's worth trying in that department. But more importantly, I also think that he might make some really smaller made weather type ewes that probably need to be a little bigger. I think he is a perfect in what I call in the middle sized sheep that maybe won't destroy things, knowing how good the Bowman ewe was, and also how good Ocean Eyes is, that he could be multi-purpose from that standpoint. What would I breed him to? I'd breed him to some really cool fronted, up-fronted, upstantial, type sheep, and hope that he just brings some quality. His underline is really, really, really good. Chest floor to flank relationship and everything is very solid. I'm a big stickler about that in my black business and when I judge, and I believe that that's a big deal. I think people will see that coming up at the All-American this year, that, I truly appreciate animals that are well balanced, just like you do when you judge, Jordan. So,
Right. Awesome. Well, Brad, we are excited to have this guy stand as a part of RSG Sires lineup. And folks out there, if you're interested in learning a little bit more about this guy, please do not hesitate to reach out to Brad and his family or visit rsgsires.com. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you, guys. Wish you guys all luck.